Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Beller, and we're trying to do a couple of programs to explain what a human economic system would look like. There's several different things out there. There's normal currency, which is totally subjective. In other words, you just walk in front. In other words,
humane.
It's a humane.
We know what the human one looks like because that's what we've got.
Well, we have a human.
You need a humane one.
We have a humane.
We don't.
We don't have a humane society. We have it's subjective. In other words, if I want to pay you $10 an hour, or 10 cents an hour, it doesn't matter. It's what I feel as though you're worth, not what you're actually worth. With an energy currency, which is what we do when we renew the earth, it's based on actually energy units required to stay alive. Whether you live in a hut in Africa or you live in a penthouse apartment in Manhattan, in the Trump Towers, the energy units to keep you alive are exactly the same for that climate. If you live about 80 years of age, more or less. Some people may live 100, some people may live to 60, but an average is good enough for science. It's close. It's not exact, it's close. So that's life. You can't legislate it to be more. You can't buy a for everything pill for that.
Forevermore.
Forevermore pill, like you can buy a forever stamp. You can't buy life. Then there's your calories, the amount of food you need. No matter how fat or skinny you are, you're going to use approximately 1 million energy units of food a year. That's or calories or joules, and the same thing holds true for your fresh water you're required to stay alive with. You're going to need about 1 million energy units from the sun to evaporate the water, the fresh water you need to stay alive. Whether it's beer, soda, or water, you need that liquid. That does not change. So that's the basic premise we're looking at for an energy currency. So an energy currency is used only for healthcare, food, shelter, education, and infrastructure. That's all it's used for. You cannot make money with energy currency. It cannot be reinvested. Once that currency hits the bank, it's normally destroyed or put aside. So it cannot create inflation.
So how does someone earn this?
Well, in the way it's being earned is very similar to what's happening right now. You just got to be alive for it, just like the theoretical UBI, basic income, the universal basic income. That's something that's just given to you at birth. In most countries that UBI works in, it works in because the countries themselves have the basic needs met: healthcare, food, education, shelter, and infrastructures.
That's guaranteed.
And that's guaranteed. And the UBI would be guaranteed also, but the UBI can be invested. So that's an investment currency along with other currencies. That's what the difference is. An energy currency takes care of the very basic needs worldwide, and it has to be adopted worldwide. And now is the time to come together to get this humanitarian economic system started. It's the first time in history when the entire world's in the same boat. They're all suffering from this pandemic, and the economies are collapsing because the old economic system is collapsing, and we need to change that. And now, people say, well, you're going to go into hyperinflation. Well, that's not the case, because money doesn't have a value. It's a belief system. It's nothing more than a belief system. So if you believe in the dollar or the yen or the currency, you can print them up till the cows come home. You just can't invest it, because when you invest money, you're making money on money and you're not producing anything important. So money actually, if you look at money as debt, I'm going to say that again, money as debt, MONEYASDEBT, is a very good video for you to watch. It explains what money is. It's well worth watching. It's only a 20-minute cartoon. That's one thing you should be looking at. Another thing which would be sort of interesting to understand where money comes from is Zeitgeist Moving Forward, or the Venus Project. That's another that's a long documentary. But again, if you have the time, please try looking at it. It's worth looking at. That's the third little detail. So here's the way I look at it. Money has no value. Human beings, their mind and their labor has most of the value. Matter of fact, it's the only thing that has value. And when I listen to some of our politicians talk, they say, well, we have to get back to work. Well, wait a second. Why do we have to get back to work? If you're going to kill people, you're asking people to go back to work, and they may catch the virus or may not, but a small percentage will die. So you're saying go back to work to make paper money, and your life isn't worth anything. So I'm suggesting that the people who say that go out and work. You guys go out and you do the front line, stocking shelves like they do in the supermarket. Start taking cash from people like you do in the supermarket, and do that for the next 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, and show us. Put your life where your mouth is, because that's what you're asking us to do. You're asking to put our life on the line to go back to work. And we don't have to. If you feel comfortable about it, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but
and the Congress is staying away too.
And yeah, the Congress,
and they can afford to stay away.
And the people in the Congress and the Senate have enough money that it doesn't matter what happens, they're going to be fine. But the poor guys coming, the poor guy who has to go out and make a living because he can't afford food or rent. It was interesting. Someone texted me the other day and they said, well, the UBIs, without UBI, you can't buy gas or electric or stuff for your computer. I said, but the energy currency is well before that. If you don't have a car, you don't need the gas for it. If you can't afford a car, you don't have to worry about the gas. And if you don't have a house to live in, you can't plug in your computer. And if you don't have a computer, what are you talking about? So you need the basic needs met to begin with: healthcare, food, shelter, and
the control that was deliberately put into the way that our government was developed, our Constitution was developed, was to give an advantage to property owners and wealthy people, and the part of that is also remnants of that is our electoral college now that can create a situation twice now that a president was chosen who did not get the popular vote, the majority of the popular
and that's
vote.
The other thing.
So we still have remnants of this kind of control.
For the rich.
Yes.
And the reason why that happens, by the way, is because they didn't have communication like we have today, and they feel as though that the people wouldn't know who to vote for.
They couldn't get enough information, but now we have an overabundance of information.
As a matter of fact, you don't know where the truth lies in some cases.
But still,
However,
people should be able to make their own decisions
I always ask the question, what does it cost me to buy the Electoral College? How much money? How much do I have to go to the individual couple of hundred people and give them $500,000 somewhere in their bank? I'm not saying it happens, but I'm just curious to know what it would cost us to actually
being a candidate
for a wealthy candidate to pay off the Electoral College. So, but we need to go for the popular vote. And by the way, I don't think most of these problems will even be here if we had a different economic system, a humanitarian economic system worldwide, where all basic needs are met. That means people wouldn't be wanting to come to a country where they feel as though it's better quality of life because of money. Because I know that in a lot of the poor countries I visited, their quality of life is pretty damn good. They don't have any money, but their life is good. They're fishing, they're relaxing, they're only working a couple of hours a day. That's a pretty good quality of life. So, and I'm not saying I would trade that because I'm schooled as an American, and I love my country, and that's why I do these programs. And you have to remember that being an American is part of a responsibility to help your fellow person. That's what I believe Americans always have done and done well. We built the great America because we've always helped other countries, and lately it's been helping the other countries how to take advantage of them. So that's not the way we shouldn't be doing things. And with a different economic system, like a humanitarian economic system, we actually would be fixing the 200 and some odd countries that we have on this planet. It's another interesting thing. Buckminster Fuller talks about the spaceship Earth. He has a manual out there, 100 pages, called The Manual for Spaceship Earth, and it's really worthwhile getting
operating manual.
An operating manual for Spaceship Earth. It's online. And it goes pretty much along with what the Pope said with his encyclical, his first encyclical he wrote. Anyway, I'm going off topic.
No, that's good.
If you look at this planet as it was one big spaceship, which we are floating in outer space, and there's about 200 rooms in this spaceship, and we start blowing up one of those rooms and people start to run out of it because of pollution or we're messing up the air in our spaceship, we're all going to suffer. So our goal is to make sure the spaceship is well balanced and everybody has their basic needs met and they're living very comfortably. That would be the goal of this planet. And if you want to be religious about it, this could be a heaven on earth if we stop killing one another and come together how we help each other. Now this is not a religious point, it's a scientific point. And also I want to bring out another thing with this pandemic. It was amazing how fast the air and the air around the globe cleaned up. China, California, all over the globe, the air cleaned up, and the water in Venice cleaned up because it wasn't stirred up. You were able to see to the bottom for the first time that people can ever remember. So this planet can be cleaned up, but we have to start thinking about
change in human behavior.
We have to change our behavior, and the pandemic is showing us how to do that. I don't know if you want to be religious about it, but it's actually showing us how to change the system. And I'm asking you all to get together to think about a humanitarian economic system. And if you want to write into us, you can do that to renew the earth. You can go online, you can tweet about it. As a matter of fact, if you can possibly tweet about this would be great because these tweet things seem to be really working well. If it works well for the President of the United States, I don't know.
Jeff Beller on Twitter.
You can send it to Jeff Beller on tweet.
Your ideas about a humanitarian economic
system. We want to know what your ideas, what it would look like with a humanitarian economic system and using global currency just for basic needs met, and then letting a form of UBI work with other currencies around the world. That would be a really good thing. Be really curious to get your input on that. I'd appreciate the input on that. There's one other thing I'm thinking about, and I remember when energy prices dropped to a negative. Someone said that's terrible. Well, it's not terrible. When energy prices are low, fossil energy and all energy, renewable energy and fossil energy, enhances what a human being can do. Now, when energy prices go up, it actually hurts the world economy because the people who are making money on the high energy prices are the private enterprise who runs it. Now, a barrel of oil has a certain amount of BTUs. So the BTU content doesn't change when the barrel prices go up or down. So we need to have a barrel, and it actually costs more to pull oil out of the ground now than we're getting out in energy units. But while oil prices are still low, we should be pushing the hell out of building a renewable energy industry. Wind, solar, biomass fuels. Build the basics for the energy industry so we can have a renewable energy that has a zero cost of fuel for the future. I don't know if I've explained that right.
A wonderful gift to the children of the future.
That would be right. It would be a gift. See, I want to, before I get sidetracked, you need fossil fuel to build the industry, to build the steel, to build the glass. You need the heat. However, if the prices go up, the cost of the renewable energies go up. And of course, if prices go up, trucking deliveries go up, everything goes up. So cheap fuel would be better for the economy. And renewable fuel would not only be better for the economy, but it would be better for the environment. Mm-hmm. So our children will thank you. Our grandchildren will thank you. This is the way we can do this project. But again, what was your point? You made a point.
I don't think so.
No,
if I did, I don't remember.
But anyway, this is Susan and Jeff. We're trying to get this program out as best we can. We're old, and this is a gypsy operation, so we're going to try to move it forward. But if you have any questions, please tweet them out.
And suggestions.
And suggestions. Please tweet them out on wherever you get it out. Just get it out there any way you can.
And renew the earth. .org is not just a site where we talk about this particular concept of energy currency and the value of human lives in general for survival. We talk about other things there, renewable energies, and there are things for kids to do, and activities, and this may be useful now when so many parents are homeschooling. So check out the website. It's renew-the-earth.org.
renew-the-earth.org. And please check that out, and tell as many people as you can about the website, which explains in detail that we've come up with for this.
And pretty much the history of how we did it.
And
how we collaborated with other people to do it.
Around the world, by the way. So anyway, try.
It's not something that just happened overnight.
I want to give out one
probably
other thing.
10 years in the making.
To get this economic system to work, this humanitarian economic system to work, my suggestion is getting people like Bernie Sanders, Klugman, Reich, Wolf, and other people from around the world of that type person, the economists from that type person.
Only because they have contacts that can get to the government and stuff like that. But it all has to start
with
people like you and us, and
that we must have
our agreement is essential.
Yes, we must have agreement on it, and it's got to help all of humanity, not just one country or a few. It's got to benefit all of humanity. Again, that's my suggestion. Have them come up with some kind of a blueprint, and it has to be globally. And then we have the normal currency, which is the social currency, and then we have the normal currency, which is invested. Then we have the social currency,
which is the energy
currency, which is only for basic needs met, based on energy units that a person requires to stay alive. I don't know how much better I could say it, but again, please do what you can to make this happen. We've been working on this energy currency now for about 7 years, so maybe 9.
I think it's
closer to 9
or 10.
But we're not professional people. We're doing the best we can with what we got, and I'm asking you to please try to make this happen. Again, this is Jeff Beller and Susan Comont. We run a nonprofit called Renew the Earth, and renew-the-earth.org. And I'm on tweet, and so is Renew the Earth on tweet, but I'm a little more aggressive than Renew the Earth is. Okay, well, thank you so much, and I hope you tune into this program. Thank you so much. Bye now.